Echoes of the abyss, the awakening of Cthulhu. The musty scent of aged paper filled my nostrils as I sifted through the documents left behind by my late great-uncle, Professor George Gamel Angel, a distinguished scholar of Brown University. He had passed away under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in enigma. Little did I know that delving into his research would lead me down a path of cosmic horror and mind-bending revelations. My name is Francis Wayland Thurston, and this is my account of the terrifying truths. I uncovered truths that threaten the very fabric of our reality and sanity. It all began with a small, intricately carved bas-relief made of some unknown greenish-black stone. Among my great-uncle's papers, I found detailed notes about this curious object, which had been brought to him by a young sculptor named Henry Anthony Wilcox. The bas-relief depicted a grotesque, squid-like head atop a scaly, dragon-like body with rudimentary wings. Wilcox claimed to have created the sculpture in a dream-like trance during the night of March 1, 1925. He spoke of vivid, terrifying dreams, filled with cyclopean cities of Titan blocks and sky-flung monoliths, all dripping with green ooze and sinister with latent horror. These visions were accompanied by a repeating phrase in an unknown language, Finglu Mingulnef Thulhur Orlai Ganagulftang. My great-uncle's notes revealed that he had begun an investigation into this curious incident, discovering that many artists, poets, and sensitive individuals around the world had experienced similar dreams on the same night. They all spoke of a sense of cosmic dread and a great being stirring in the depths of the ocean. Intrigued and unsettled, I decided to continue my great-uncle's research. I reached out to his colleagues and delved deeper into the mystery. What I uncovered was a web of interconnected events, spanning decades and continents, all seemingly linked to an ancient cult, dedicated to the worship of a cosmic entity known as Cthulhu. One of the most chilling accounts came from Inspector John Raymond Ligras of the New Orleans Police Department. In 1908, he had led a raid on a voodoo meeting in the swamps outside the city. What he and his men encountered there defied explanation. In a moonlit clearing, they found a group of mixtress cultists engaged in a frenzied ritual. At the center of their ceremony stood a small idol, a miniature version of the very same creature depicted in Wilcox's bas-relief. The cultists chanted the same cryptic phrase, Finglu Mingulnef, Thulhur Orlai Ganagulftang. When questioned, the cultists spoke of great old ones, who had once ruled the earth and now slept in the depths of the sea or beneath the earth. They believed that one day, when the stars were right, great Cthulhu would rise from his sunken city of Orlai and bring about an age of madness and chaos. As I delved deeper into the lore surrounding Cthulhu, I felt a growing sense of dread. The more I learned, the more I realized that this was no mere myth or legend. There was a terrible truth lurking beneath the surface of our reality. A truth that threatened to shatter the very foundations of human understanding. My investigations led me to the account of Gustaf Johansen, a Norwegian sailor who had encountered something horrifying in the South Pacific. Johansen was the sole survivor of the crew of the Emma, a ship that had stumbled upon a cyclopean stone city risen from the depths of the ocean. Johansen's diary, written in a shaky hand, described the nightmarish architecture of the city. Vast structures of impossible geometry that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The sailors explored the alien metropolis, their minds reeling from the cosmic wrongness of their surroundings. But the true horror came when they accidentally opened a great monolithic door. From the darkness beyond emerged a titan creature, a living embodiment of the idol and bas-relief great Cthulhu himself. Johansen's description of the entity was fragmented and incoherent, as if his mind couldn't fully comprehend what he had seen. The creature was described as a mountain walked or stumbled. Johansen wrote of a squiddragon, thing with a vaguely anthropoid shape, but with an octopus-like head, a scaly, rubbery-looking body, prodigious claws on hind and fore feet, and long, narrow wings behind. The sailors fled in terror, but Cthulhu pursued them, destroying most of the crew. Only through sheer luck did Johansen and one other sailor escape, ramming their ship directly into the creature's head. The massive entity burst into a thick, greenish ichor, momentarily incapacitated. But as they fled, Johansen saw the pieces of the monstrosity slowly reforming. The other sailor died of fear shortly after their escape, leaving Johansen as the sole survivor. He lived just long enough to record his terrifying experience before succumbing to a mysterious fate. As I pieced together these accounts, a horrifying picture began to emerge. The dreams, the cult, the resin city, all pointed to the awakening of an ancient, cosmic horror beyond human comprehension. Cthulhu, a being older than our planet itself, was stirring in his eons-long slumber. The implications were staggering. Our entire understanding of the universe and our place in it was based on a fragile illusion. We were not alone, and the entities that shared our reality were so vast, so alien, that merely comprehending their existence could drive one to madness. I found myself questioning everything I had ever known or believed. How could we go about our daily lives blissfully, unaware of the cosmic horrors that lurk just beyond the veil of our perception? The thought of Cthulhu and the other great old ones rising from their slumber filled me with a terror so profound it bordered on awe. In my feverish research, I came across references to other cosmic entities, Yog-Sothoth, Azathoth, Shub-Niggurath, names that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly power. Each was described in terms that defied human understanding, hinting at realities and dimensions beyond our own. The cultist's chant took on new meaning. As I deciphered its rough translation, in his house at R'lyeh, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. It was both a promise and a threat, a slumbering god whose awakening would herald the end of the world as we knew it. I began to see signs and omens everywhere, strange weather patterns, unexplained disappearances, and outbreaks of mass hysteria. All seemed connected to the cosmic stirring I had uncovered. Was I losing my mind, or was I one of the few who could see the truth? My nights became plagued with nightmares. I dreamed of vast, alien cities, with non-Euclidean geometry, of shapes and colors that had no place in our reality. In these dreams, I felt the presence of Cthulhu, a vast, slumbering consciousness that threatened to engulf my very being. I woke from these nightmares drenched in sweat, the echoes of that maddening chant ringing in my ears, Binglu Mengolnef Thulhur Orlai Uganagulftain. The boundary between dream and reality began to blur, and I found myself questioning my own sanity. In my more lucid moments, I grappled with the moral implications of my discoveries. Should I share what I had learned with the world? Would doing so save humanity or merely spread the madness that now gripped me? The weight of this knowledge was almost unbearable. I reached out to other scholars and researchers, hoping to find someone who could help me make sense of what I had uncovered. But those who didn't dismiss me outright as a madman often became obsessed themselves, falling into the same pit of cosmic dread that had claimed me. One colleague, Dr. Elizabeth Marsh, seemed to grasp the significance of my findings. We spent long nights poring over ancient texts and comparing notes, trying to piece together the full picture of the cosmic horror we faced. But as we delved deeper, Elizabeth began to change. She spoke of strange dreams and visions, of a calling she couldn't resist. One day, I arrived at her office to find it empty. A hastily scrawled note left on her desk: "The stars are right. He calls. Rely rises." I never saw her again. As the months passed, my obsession grew. I covered the walls of my study with maps, drawings, and snippets of ancient texts. Red strings connected seemingly unrelated events, forming a web of cosmic conspiracy that only I could see. I knew I was walking a fine line between genius and madness, but I couldn't stop. Then came the earthquakes. Seismologists were baffled by the pattern of tremors that seemed to emanate from a point in the South Pacific. News reports spoke of strange phenomena at sea whirlpools, where no currents should exist, bizarre lights beneath the waves, and sailors telling tales of impossible sounds echoing through their ships' hulls. My heart raced as I plotted the epicenter of these disturbances. It corresponded exactly with the coordinates of R'lyeh, the sunken city of Cthulhu, as described in Johansson's account. The horrifying realization hit me: it was happening. The stars were right, and great Cthulhu was stirring in his eons-long slumber. As if in response to my realization, the dreams intensified. Each night, I found myself wandering the alien streets of R'lyeh, the angles and dimensions shifting in ways that made my mind reel. I could feel the presence of the sleeping god, a vast, malevolent consciousness that threatened to engulf all of existence. In the waking world, signs of the coming apocalypse multiplied. Cults dedicated to the Old Ones spread like wildfire, their members driven by visions and an inexplicable yearning for the return of their dark gods. Mass suicides and outbreaks of violence became commonplace, as if humanity could sense the approaching doom on some primal level. I made a final, desperate attempt to warn the world. I compiled all my research into a manuscript, hoping that someone would read it and understand the gravity of our situation. But as I prepared to send it to publishers, doubt crept in. Would revealing this knowledge to the masses do more harm than good? Was the bliss of ignorance preferable to the mind-shattering truth? In the end, I decided to seal away my findings. I couldn't bear the thought of being responsible for spreading the cosmic horror that now consumed me. Instead, I resolved to face the coming storm with the grim knowledge I had acquired. As I write these final words, I can feel the world changing around me. The boundaries between realities grow thin, and impossible geometries bleed into our dimension. The chant that has haunted my dreams now echoes in the streets, as more and more people fall under the sway of awakening cosmic forces. I don't know what the future holds for humanity. Perhaps we will be enslaved or destroyed by the awakening Old Ones. Or perhaps, in some twist of cosmic irony, we will find a way to coexist with these unimaginable beings, forever changed by the knowledge of our true place in the universe. All I know is that the world as we knew it is ending. Great Cthulhu stirs in his sunken city, and the stars are aligned for his return. May whatever gods or cosmic forces that may exist have mercy on our souls. Finglu Mingulnef Cthulhu R'lyeh Ganagolftang. In his house at R'lyeh, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming, but not for much longer.